Sarah Ellis, who's been with us for 8 months or probably longer. She says, how much will the snow have an effect on the evidence? That's a good one, Ed. She's been there for arguably 2, maybe 3 seasons, correct?
Any precipitation. Like I said, initially, when the body was first deposited there, if it's going through a winter cycle, it will slow the rate of decomp. It'll mask the smell from the critters. All right. And so it's any type of precipitation, moisture, and things like that could affect how the decomp happens. And then, it'll when it thaws out and melts and soaks into the ground, and then some, whatever chemicals are there and so forth will then could be percolated down with the moisture and so forth. So it could impact. Yes, definitely.
But when you have snow and you talk about icy conditions, yes, it does help to preserve the body. But when it thaws out, as you just,
it also damages blood. When you freeze blood, it gets damaged from the freezing with crystals and so forth, and kind of hurts sometimes with the analysis of it.
Right. And going through all the different cycles, we heard the prosecutor talking about 5 feet of snow that they needed to thaw out to search for a certain location. Sure that they get the same amount of snow here. Joey Brooklyn, who's a great friend of ours, the head moderator, he is in charge of our security. He's a member for 30 months or more. Awesome coverage, gentlemen. The best community. You got a great community over on Joey Brooklyn's YouTube channel. Everyone go over and check it out. He goes all over the place. Long Island, Brooklyn, New York City. He was at San Gennaro in the rain, Ed. I bet you didn't know that.
I did.
Oh, yeah. So Ed's checking you out, Joey. Umbrellas, tarps. He's out there doing it. So he was out there in the monsoon. Marilyn, thank you for being a member. Thank you for becoming a member. We appreciate you. Dr. Ed Moskowitz, that's our doctor. This is the Crime Time with DutyRon.
Dr. Ed.
I'm so glad to be here. Love this community here. Julie and Ed,
great people.
We love you. We love you. Dawn Marie, member for freaking 40 months. Look at that. We love you, DutyRon. La Familia. Thank you, Dawn. Popeye's laughing when I start laughing. So George is here, Angola. Thank you. I knew Suzanne would be found. Member for 11 months. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Leslie McGuire, a nice Italian woman, right? Thank you, DutyRon and Ed. I have been pushing for prosecution under the Violence Against Women's Act, so the feds use their resources. Thoughts?
Well,
I like it.
Does an application have to be made by the local law enforcement agency for this, or the prosecutor's office? And many prosecutors don't like to give up their cases to the feds.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something to this, and it can happen.
Yeah, there's a whole thing going on. There's always that, nobody checks their ego at the door when you're dealing with the feds. It's like chest pumps out, and it's not an easy one. All right. I just want to make sure I did everything. Searching sifters, 3-minute timeline. Suzanne's sister. This is what I wanted to play. We got to play this because this is from Suzanne's side. So this is her family's response to her remains being found, and then we'll wrap it up with a couple of questions, Ed, because we're at the hour mark. Here we go. I'm doing like 7 different things here. I want to play this second piece that I want to show because it actually shows the terrain, and it also shows somebody who searched hard for Suzanne Morphew, one of the community folks from her area where she was residing. So let's play this piece and let everybody watch, and we'll go to the questions after this.
More than 3 years after Suzanne disappeared, many still held hope answers would eventually come.
Someone needs to keep her name out there until she was found, and now we will continue to do it until she gets full justice.
Tisha Leeway spent years getting to know Suzanne at the salon. Small town connections. When Suzanne disappeared on Mother's Day 2020, Tisha helped plan search parties. Learning investigators finally found something comes as a relief.
I think it's great that they found, her remains, and now people can finally, I guess, get a sense of relief that now we can move forward as far as being able to find the justice that she deserves now.
The Colorado Bureau of Investigation won't say the exact location where they found Suzanne's remains last Friday, only that it is near Moffett. You're looking at an aerial view of that part of Saguache County. Investigators were on site for a different case when they came across Suzanne's remains
And this gives you such a great view of the lay of the land there. It is flat land surrounded by mountains, but the area of interest is just like this when you look at it from the air. They did use fixed wing and helicopter to do grid searches. They used drones. So they did throw quite a bit of resources at this search, and we hope that they dotted their I's and crossed their T's. I'll let the rest of this play.
Positively identified on Wednesday by the El Paso County coroner.
The FBI, the CBI, the sheriff's department has always, the sheriff especially department has always said, we need her body to finish this case out. So, my thing is you've got her body, let's finish this case.
A huge discovery in this case. Friends hope will finally lead to some answers.
First of all, who did it? Obviously, the obvious answer that everybody wants to know. Why? Why did this happen to someone like her? It shouldn't happen to anybody, but someone, as genuine as her, like why? But I guess, just the biggest question is who did this? And let's bring them to justice and put them.
I think we already have the answer to that, but we'll let the prosecutor take care of that. Ed, did you see anything in the chat? Because there was a lot of people sending questions. There was one more piece there. She is. We can't have a show without Kara. I love her.
Mm-hmm.
She really. She loves to defend the Wallace household. All right, what do you got there, Ed?
So, can forensic teams allowed to search for weeks and cover much area for evidence, or are there a budget, money pressures? Well, there's always going to be budget and money pressures, but depending on the scene and what's necessary, yes, like there's been plenty of landfill operations that went on for weeks looking for human remains that were potentially put in the garbage and then brought to a landfill and then dumped in a landfill. So yeah, it is possible if it's warranted and necessary. Absolutely.
Ed, here's a message from Tommy. We had this is Suzanne Morphew's stepbrother. I like to call him her brother because Tommy has a deep love for Suzanne, and he came on our show a long time ago and gave us his thoughts from the family perspective. So here's Tommy. Everybody send hearts and prayers to him and his family. He says, Ron and Ed, thank you for all your hard work in keeping Suzanne in the public eye. She was a beautiful, kind, and incredible person, and we miss her very much. # justice for Suzanne. Amen, Tommy. We love you, brother. And, obviously, this channel is about learning and education. There's some tough things that we speak about. Ed and I, we have tough conversations, but I know you get it, and you've been fighting for justice for your sister for a very long time, and you haven't stopped and you haven't let up, and here we are today. It's bittersweet, but we still need to have a perpetrator put back into custody and charged with this crime.
Stay strong, Thomas. It's coming. It's coming. Justice is coming. The investigation is ongoing. Hopefully we'll get these answers for you and your family, and you can have some solace in that.
Amen. Amen.